What's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36 here on a fucking Friday. Um, doing something that I think makes me a good person, but at the same time, I hate it. Down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, gonna go support my guy Carson Beck um, and see them beat the Louisville Cardinals. Well, I don't know if they can lose, that'd be great. But if Carson play well, that would be dope. But down this way, I'm getting ready as the year goes faster and faster. Uh, got some good thing. Could not get Joe Bullard on. Joe said he'll try to get on next week. But outside of that, let's go ahead and get it started because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm tired. The funeral went great yesterday. Little tears, little good vibes. Saw some family that I haven't seen in quite some time, and got a chance to go see the house. I want to post it, but my uncle George has that shit. That house looks like definitely lived in. The house is definitely lived in. He has not done a good job of upkeep, but it's still there was a lot of memories, a lot of things that Andre, what did I leave Trey up there? No, Trey. Trey and Killer are with them with their mother. I started to leave his ass up there. That motherfucker got a slick mouth, man, for somebody who can't fight. But yeah, had a great time meeting family members and talking about stuff and laying the old bird to rest finally. So hopefully this will help me be able to shift my focus back on the grind, back on the work, and giving people content and producing things in the manner of which it should be. Hold on, my bad. Anyways, so on that note, let's start our show off the way we start every day, each and every show off with a word of prayer.
You already know what time it is, dog! Thank you, God, for another day! Thank you, God, for another day! Thank you, God! God is great! All the time! All the time! Nobody wanna thank you, God! Thank you, God! No! Yeah! Go, go, go! Yeah!
What we got, Jaden?
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to
Hold on real quick. My bad, Jaden. Jaden, hold on quick. Jen, who y'all getting y'all ass whooped by? Where y'all got to drive to? Who y'all play? Who does I think your boys are at Leon, or are they at Gabi? And who they playing? You talking about you gonna get your ass whooped for 2.5? But yeah, I just wanted to check that out. Sure, but go ahead, Jaden.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Big Games B.S. here on Friday, October 17th. If this is your first time here at the show, welcome. And the reason it's called Big Games B.S. is because we bring the good, the bad, and the B.S. of the sports world, especially football, to your screens, eyes, and ears. You know, we like to start off with our MFTK segment for you guys. So we got some promo to send your way. And we also have to discuss a school district in Florida that's made some stringent rules in regards to media access for football games. Mandarin University does not have a game this week, so we won't have our usual score prediction. Then after our MFTK segment, we will transition into FSU football talk. We do have our Stanford matchup this Saturday at 10:30 p.m. At Stanford. So we're going to talk about the injury report for that game and get James to talk about a final score once we get around to our viewing guide and our potential parlay builder. But before we get to those, we have to talk about some coaches in the college football world. Next, we transition into the NFL, the big league, starting with the NFL Knowles, and a very, 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 very special Knoll got some recognition we're going to highlight. Talk about the Jaguars and their matchup against the Rams and some players that might be on that injury list as well. Before we get into the shootout last night in the Thursday Night Football old head reunion between Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco, a combined age of 81 years old between the two QBs. Man, it was a great down to the wire game last night, so we got a lot of information to discuss with you. Before we get into some players in the league, such as Byron Young and Rasheed Rice, we also have Tua to talk about as well. And then we have the viewing guide and parlay builder for the NFL slate of games this week. Finally, we have our Big Games BS section where we bring the scope of the conversation outside of the typical football world, starting with our BS or busted subtopic within this, a food review segment where we ask if it's BS or busted. And then even though we bring the scope of the conversation outside of the typical football world, man, our OG Wyland segment for today goes to some, let's just say, seasoned football players as well. We got some popular culture news to discuss with you guys as well. But first things first, let's talk about the MFTK. Oh, excuse me, guys. My bad. MFTK Spartans.
Yeah, man. It's right on the corner. Like, I mean, it feels like it's far away, but I think that's with 3 weekends away. Yeah, because this weekend, well, technically four. Well, no, this weekend is here. So today is next weekend is the 25th. Next Saturday, 26th. Then you have the second, and then we have the tryouts. It's $25. The kids get some good battle gear. We will select our teams primarily off of this tryout. It's on a Sunday afternoon after church. So go and check it out at University Christian. We will be picking as many 14U, 12U, 10U teams out of this as we need. There will be a schedule. The schedule should be out sometime early November, probably around the time that we do this, with Battle dropping their schedule, Pylon dropping their schedule. The goal is to make us a fully functional Battle program by next year. So our two 18U teams will be tier 1 Battle programs. So that means they get everything covered, including travel and all those other things. Really, at the end of the day, if you pay your registration fee and you pay for this is complete. Well, after that, you should not have to pay another dime for your child. And even then, if you can take care of it, take care of it. If you can't, we will not turn a kid away. The key to a good 501c3 is fundraising. We will make sure we have all of these kids taken care of. We will be doing our best to make sure that these are well-rounded young men from Tallahassee, Pensacola, to Jacksonville. Doesn't matter where you live at. We will have practices once a week up until we get really, really hectic. It's January, February, March, April for most of the teams, and we will do a Pylon championship in I think it's Memorial Day weekend. So it will be the end of May. So come out, check it out, be part of one of the most talented groups. But the biggest thing is about building young men. It's easier to build strong young men than to repair old ones. And as the NIL landscape changes everything, we want to make sure that these young men know how to speak in front of a crowd. Well, and I don't mean like not saying or not talking in hood vernacular. I mean how to communicate their messaging to a fan base so that they can get paid. We want them to understand how to get bread. We want them to understand how to do a lot of different things. And a lot of people say that they want to do these things. A lot of people talk about this shit, but I've been in this thing. Being in it 1 year made me realize that most people are full of shit. It is about them personally. If we have, as long as I know it's only one kid that's guaranteed a slot on this team, and he has the same name. Well, two. B5 is on the older team, but Trey Coleman is definitely on one of the 12U slots. But I did tell the coach, you ain't got to play him. He just got to be on the team. So, because at the end of the day, MFTK. But it's going to be good if you guys could take that. It's the pin tweet on my Facebook. It's the pin tweet on my IG, I believe. It's also a pin tweet on my Twitter. Share this to a young man that you believe will be impacted by this. And our goal over the next couple of years is to add young women as well to this. I just got to find some people who are interested in doing that. I don't want to be around young ladies like that. It's a weird world, but I do want to impact the youths as best as we possibly can.
Next, we have a continuation of this MFTK segment with some news coming from down south in Florida, and that is the Palm Beach School District. So, we have some new information regarding the rules and regulations for working media at Palm Beach School District sanctioned events. So, according to New Era Prep, all media must have credentials and they must be visible at all times. Media cannot go out for the coin toss. It must remain on the sideline. Media can only go from the 20 to the end zone on both sides of the field, never entering the player's box. All media must be properly dressed, including closed-toe shoes. No media personnel can profit from their work unless they have a contractor's badge, and students and or their families cannot pay private photographers to have field access. What do you think of the strict rules that Palm Beach School District has enforced for their football programs, James? And
I'll
do you
say
see more
this.
schools doing this?
Yeah, they need to. They need to. It's out of control. Um, one of the things that's interesting is I want to know what no media personnel can profit from their work unless they have a contractor's badge means. I mean, I kind of understand that you can go in and you can do stuff to like work with the city and work with the school board, but like everybody technically can profit off of it through just social media shares. Do news outlets get to do this because a lot of times the articles are behind $1 paywall. Um, one of the cool things right now is getting these kids access and media access and being able to promote them. We don't want to take away from that, but at the same time, it is out of control. They're doing too much. I think you should have a couple approved guys to be able to get the coin toss. That is a cool aspect. Like we're doing multiple documentaries over the Mandarin with the Mandarin Mustangs. We want to be able to have the coin toss. We want them to be able to feel like it's a college setting, like it is a pro setting, because a lot of these guys will never get a chance to experience this. But I will say there is not enough checks and balances over who is considered media. Like anybody with a camera right now and Adobe Photoshop considers themselves media, and I do believe it increases the chances of something crazy happening. So kudos to them. I do believe they need to make some adjustments. They do need to grandfather some people in, but things are getting a little bit out of hand, and they're probably doing this for some of the schools so that the schools don't have to look like the bad guys. We've had to do this a couple times with some people. So, but yeah.
Now let's get into some college football talk. First, starting off with the Florida State Seminoles in Tallahassee, Florida, aka Tallahassee. So the Seminoles are going up against Stanford tomorrow, 10:30 p.m. on ESPN. Yes, 10:30 p.m. for all of my East Coast folks. So make sure to try and drink a Red Bull. Stay up to watch this game. So yes, this is an ACC conference matchup between the Seminoles and the Stanford team. Hopefully, we can get the W in California. So, this is the ACC initial injury report for the game. first things first, let's look at a notable name on this list who's been getting a lot of playing time, and that is James, number 11, Jabril Rawls. Jabril Rawls is out for this game against Stanford. We're going to go back to that name, but still, some players on that questionable list. You have Deuce Robinson, Edwin Joseph, Roydell Boggs, Caleb, and Micah. Deuce had the injury last game against Pitt and ultimately did not play for a good chunk of that game. So we see if he comes back for this game or not. But James, going back to number 11, Jabril, how key is it that how important is it that he is out for our defense? Because I know he was getting some plays for that side of the ball.
Man, I'm trying to figure out why these boys are so fragile. I mean, one, he made too many tackles. We talked about that on Wednesday show or Monday or Wednesday show. You never want a situation where your corner is your leading tackler on your football team. But God, dog, man, these boys have a good game, and the next thing you know, they out. Like this is a problem. Y'all let them people convince y'all that milk was bad, and y'all started drinking that nut juice. And men don't need to drink nut juice. It's not good for their bones. All that almonds milk and all that other stuff, man. No, drink you some whole milk, and or to be honest with you, go back to like when you're getting injured often, you got to go back to the source. Now, your mom's dried up, ain't nothing you can do with her, but you got to go find. There is a lactating lady, on that campus somewhere that can provide you some nourishment to be able to get your bones stronger. And if if you lactose retarded, then football might not be for you. Your bones are going to be brittle. Like you just got to go out there and you got to stop drinking nut juice, man. That's why America is soft. Make America great again. Red caps, minimum, or I think was it 1%? Is the blue cap? Like you can go down a little bit. You can get to, but no, blue cap is skim milk. Green cap, I think, is the low fat, but you can't go down to. You can't be crushing up nuts and putting it in water and drinking it and thinking that you're going to get what you need to get. It's ridiculous.
We're going to put a pin in this FSU topic and circle back to it once we build our parlay for potential score prediction. So let's continue to move on in this college football segment. Speaking of milk, James, it looks like Billy Napier might need a huge glass of milk because there has been some reports, James, that he might be gone. So according to Yahoo Sports, Florida head coach Billy Napier could be fired as, quote, soon as this weekend, per USA Today Sports. According to
Yes.
sources, Florida's athletic director, Scott Strickland, met with a handful of influential boosters on Tuesday and was told continuing financial support depends on a, quote, new direction within the football program. So, James, I know you're an insider in this college football world. Do you have any information that can kind of support this post from Yahoo Sports?
Yeah, I do. My insider juice. Um, friend of the show. Um, he hold on, let's see here. 9:20. That was yesterday. Try to make sure I see when I got this. He told me a couple weeks ago that they believe this. And now anybody who remember we were in a situation where, damn, this feels like it wasn't even 10 years ago. So what was this? 8 years ago? They fired Butters? What's Butterteeth's name? Jim McElwain. And I told everybody, well, I had Denny tell people first, and then I went and got that damn lawyer that everybody hates, Darren Heitner. I gave Darren all the sources. I said that Jim McElwain will be fired whether Florida beats Georgia or not. And I was in D.C., and the anarchy happened. And actually, what's ironic is my one of my mentors who's in the sports Illuminati, a guy by the name of Rob Katz, text messaged me yesterday. He's a Florida alum as well. And we were just chopping it up and discussing it. And I believe he's on the outs. I'm not going to say he's going to get fired this weekend. I do believe for 2/3 of the state of Florida, everything revolves around November 1st. what happens on November 1st could shape 2/3 of the big three. If Mike Norvell loses to Wake Forest, you can see Florida State make a change. Now, if Mike loses to Stanford, I still think it's going to come down to Wake Forest. My bad. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's go. Kobe's chomping at the bit, ready to get the high school one. So we're gonna make our next announcement of our next thing. Anyways, we November 1st is when a lot of these things, a lot of the things I believe will fall into place. So you heard it here first. If it happens this weekend, it wouldn't shock me, but I really personally believe they'll wait to the Florida Georgia because let's talk candidly. You can bring up your Florida State comments here as well. You could do a lot of other stuff. I see a lot of people like a lot of people talking. This is why we got to have. We do need to have. Is it guardrails? Is that the term or like guidelines? Print like everybody ain't media. Everybody with an opinion ain't media because the problem is when you put your opinion out there, you have to be willing to stand on it. And people are going to have to call you stupid and do all this other different shit. And most people aren't built that way. They just want the attention that comes from being right and not the vitriol that comes from being wrong. If somebody can give me an example of where it worked, firing a coach in the middle of the season, like what are the benefits to firing a coach this early? If somebody can show me, I love being educated. That is one thing people do not understand about me. I love being educated. I love being schooled. But if the shit don't make sense, I'm going to tell you it don't make sense. And if it don't, and at the end of the day, college football is about making dollars. And if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. You show me where a college has fired a coach early in the season that it benefited them. Now, I'll tell you some game that an athletic director gave me. If you fire a coach early, all you're doing is setting it up to fire the next coach early. That doesn't mean you should not fire Jim. Not Jim, excuse me. That does not mean you shouldn't fire G5 Billy. Me being non-trolling, he has not lived up to the standard and expectations that the University of Florida has for some odd reason. You've had 3 national championships in over 100 plus years of playing football. Like, can somebody do the math for me on that? What does that even out to? Does that divide into something that just means we win championships every year? Because I ain't really great at math, but that comes out to what, one every 33 years? I'm sorry, that's not you're not used to winning championships. So get that shit out of your brain. You don't know what it feels like to win a championship every fucking year. So let's get that part clear. Same thing with Florida State. We've won 3 national championships. We've played in more, but we've won 3 national championships in about roughly 80-something years of playing football. So now you want to compete. You want to win championships. You want to win conference championships. You want to win bowl championships. You want to at least have the feeling that you're going to have a shot. But if you fire this guy and the rosters are so bad, and everything is such a disarray, what the fuck makes you think this is an attractive job? So, and then what are the names? You want to retread. A lot of people saying Lane Kiffin, a guy who's failed multiple times. And I'm okay with Lane. I actually think Lane brings an exciting because he's successful where he's at. But is he successful where he's at because of where he's at or because he can be successful anywhere? When's the first time Ole Miss won a championship? I'll wait. But if you ask me, if firing this coach gets you a head start on the coaching search. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't do any of that unless you're hiring a guy who's already been fired. Thus the Bob Stoops, which he's too old now to try to hire. But, the only way that I would like it to work is if if you got rid of a guy and you brought in, I would take James Franklin. That's the only person that I would hire. But I also understand that the way the game goes, you do not have to go undefeated every year anymore. Win 10 and you're in. It's just like the NFL. You win 10 games in the NFL, you're guaranteed a home playoff victory. I mean, home playoff berth. You win 10, you're guaranteed a spot in the college football playoff if you play in the ACC, SEC, Big Ten, et cetera, et cetera. You need to find a guy that can guarantee you 10 wins. That's yeah.
Speaking of head coaches, we have a lot of head coaches to discuss, and our money moves winner of the day, James, belongs to, drumroll please, Indiana's coach Kurt Signetti. If you guys have not heard the news, Kurt Signetti and Indiana have agreed to terms on a new 8-year contract with an average annual compensation of approximately $11.6 million. So this new contract runs through November 30th, 2033. So according to Pete Nakos, the buyout is up to $15 million. And to clarify, that is for Signetti to leave Indiana voluntarily. And this is his salary progression, James. Man, this is just insane. So in 07, he started as a Bama wide receiver coach, making
I
$170,000
did
a year.
not realize he was a part of the saving tree.
A lot
Damn.
of people are, 2009 making 200, 2010 250, then 2011 IUP head coach 125, transition to James Madison in that head coaching position 425, then 677. Last year Indiana head coach 4.5, and with this new contract extension, James, he's gonna be making $11.6 million. So whew, he is stacking that cheddar. So where does this place Signetti in terms of the whole college football landscape? He's currently the third highest paid coach, based on average annual salary. He's only behind Ryan Day, the recent college football champion, and Kirby Smart of the Georgia Bulldogs. He is ahead of Lincoln Riley and Dabo in the top 5, but based on that new contract extension, this is where the $11.6 million annual salary places Signetti. James, people are seeming to forget that Mark Cuban is a graduate of Indiana University, so they got that bread for sure, for sure.
I
But
did not realize that. Did you one? Every university has a guy that's like that. Did you see the Morgan? I know we're talking about this. Did you see Morgan State? Off Morgan State got 65 million from Jeff Bezos' old bitch. I mean, excuse me, old fling.
shout out to her.
Shout out to her, but goddamn, dog, that's messed up. I'd be pissed. Like, come on, dog. You just giving my money away. But kudos to her, and kudos to Morgan State. I had a kid commit today, and they just offered our wide receiver Tion Weiss. Um, this contract though does absolutely nothing to make Indiana secure. You know what his personal buyout is, right? 15 million. So all this does is put out there what the starting salary is. So like Penn State now knows, $11.6 million is where we got to go. We pay him what they pay Kirby, then we got him. But I do know who this takes out of the hunt. Florida State. So Florida State fans, y'all can stop doing that. I also think again, is he successful because he is at Indiana, or is he successful? Period. Yes, he did it at James Madison. He did it. If he were a basketball coach doing this at Indiana, Indiana would be crucifying him because he's not Bob Knight. Indiana football is not known for anything. In fact, one of the guys who's over my son's Pop Warner Association is from Indiana, and he was proud. Like, Indiana has two schools. They have Notre Dame and they have Indiana, everybody wants to rep the public school, but they've never been any good. The state school. So he reps his Notre Dame gear. So he's like, man, I felt so good to be able to wear this. He's like, you know how long I've had this and never been able to wear it? Like, bro, them boys win 8 games in Indiana. They're going to be excited. So, like, he is a good coach, though. Very good coach, but he's going to be Bobby's age. And I think he should be honored. And I really think if people want to retrain and shape the way the college football landscape is going, they need to reward guys like this for staying their ass put. And then you can start blaming the Jets. But until then, fuck it. But this man, like, if he makes it, he'll be 73 years old. Like, it just, he's a good coach. And I do like I like the trajectory in which he's going. But 2007 was when he was a wide receiver coach at Alabama, if I remember correctly, Jada. Because it was right around 2007. When was it? No, it was 2010. My mom asked me if I would ever consider coaching college in about like 2008. And I said no. And partially it was because 2 of my favorite coaches, not named Bowden, were Billy Sexton and Mickey Andrews. Mickey Andrews' son committed suicide. And Billy Sexton, excuse me, son was Wyatt Sexton, and Wyatt was crazy as fuck. Don't let that tick fool you. That was some bad coke. And I said, when I think about it, those men, I always wanted to be an effective father. And I was like, those men spent more time with me than they spent with their own kids because of coaching. And I was like, I could not commit to coaching on that level for that little bit of money. But goddamn, it was right after that is when I started seeing guys get $500,000. I said, shoot, I made the wrong decision. I should have went out there and got that bread. It's easier to cry in a mansion or in a Lamborghini than it is to cry in a shack. So I learned that everybody got daddy issues, regardless of how good your daddy is. Everybody got daddy issues.
So, who do you think will be the next Penn State coach, James? Because people were throwing Signetti's name in the mix. We've been talking about Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame, Matt Rule from Nebraska. I even saw Urban Meyer send a shout out to Dan Mullen, saying that he's from the Northeast, and that could be a potential geographical grab for him. So with Signetti's name off the Penn State head coaching list, who do you see as the top candidates for that position now?
Urban, Marcus Freeman, Signetti. I do like Dan Mullen. I think Dan Mullen's a good coach. I think people got to get off of it's year 3, it's year 4, and you took a dip. Like, you did not stay at that. The only person who stayed at that level was Saban. Most people do have a dip that they take every now and then. Like, bad quarterback, guys not ready, stuff like that. Like, things happen. Shit. Who else? I think what you're going to see is a lot of guys take a pro approach. They're going to go get some of these NFL guys, these NFL guys, to try to stabilize it. They're not going to look at the failures of Bill and say that this won't work. Oh, Matt Rule. That being said, Matt Rule, because Matt Rule, that little midget, got me mad at him. Motherfucker, he gave us Tony White and laughing at this point. Like, we over here sucking Nebraska 5-1 right now. But they I can see a lot of those guys that have had success in the Northeast that also do a good job of coming down into Florida and getting a couple guys to be able to come up that way. So, yeah.
Let's take a look at our last coach who we are highlighting, and that is Coach Prime. So Coach Prime, according to Grant Speaks 1, hosted a transfer portal scrimmage for some Colorado players. Players who haven't played and plan to enter the portal got to scrimmage. The players will receive their film cut up to study and share with other schools. So don't take it from me. We're going to take it from the horse's mouth, or some might say the buffalo's mouth, aka Dion, as he describes this phenomenon.
Like that. A lot of you guys that don't get to play, you're gonna get your chance today. All right, this is your chance because I'm not crazy enough to think that all of you gonna be in this room next year. Some of you gonna jump in the portal. This is an opportunity for you to get some portal film. Okay, so I'm the kind of coach that's gonna make sure we cut it, hype it up, give it to you however you want it, and make sure you're looking good in your portal tape. So this is some of you guys don't get to play. They're planning on jumping. You already made up your mind you're jumping. So I'm just trying to help you jump. Okay? The rest of you guys plan on just staying here, rubbing it out, moving up on things. I want you to get you some good tape, get you some good film so you can assess yourself. And you all should be watching yourself practice. You all should be watching yourself to see how you go about it, to see what improvement you need, what you got to work on. But this is your day. I think we got cheerleaders for you today. I don't know if we got band members. I know they're trying, but I'm trying to get the whole shebang to make you have the feeling that it's game day for you. So when you come out there, it's game day. You're gonna have your own stretch, right? They're stretching. You gotta stretching them separately. The rest of you guys is playing, practicing. We gotta have a good practice today to end this thing. But you're gonna stay your butt here, don't leave, and support your teammates. The coaches, main staff, we going up top to watch them. Don't be around and let the rest of the coaches support staff. You guys got this today. Everybody got this. Make sure they running on and off the field as we do in the game. We're gonna have everybody on the one side of the field, far side, cheerleaders gonna be on the near side. So you're gonna do your thing. Have a great day today. You guys that's playing in the game, get your minds right like that.
So, James, my question to you is, do you see other schools implementing this transfer portal scrimmage process that Coach Prime has started?
I think they'll do some variation of it. There's good and bad in it. I think people are still trying to understand this NIL transfer portal politics and everything that goes along with it. They guys have to understand that you it's going to happen. Guys are going to treat certain places as launching pads. Now, you don't want your top guys being recruited. That's probably why he's going to keep them over where they're at. But if I had a guy, let's say I needed a solid backup quarterback, and I brought in a high school guy, and he performed for me 2 to 3 years, and he was able to go from Colorado. He had no offers. Let's say he walked on. He was able to go from Colorado to Colorado State or somewhere else. I can still use that as a recruiting tool to say, hey, you come here. If it doesn't work out for you, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you land at the best place for you to advance your career. So while I don't necessarily agree with Dion on a lot of things, this kind of goes to show that Dion does care about these guys outside of sports, outside of football. Like I want you to advance as a man because he doesn't have to do any of this shit. If we being funky, this is him doing, but making it like a game. No college coach is going to really care about all of that stuff. But again, the FCS, the D2s, some other opportunities are there that just aren't P4. So bravo to Dion for thinking outside of the box and continuing to try to find different ways to promote his players, even though he's going through a really rough patch right now, just in life and in general. So I like it. I'm all for it. I think it's dope.
So, even though we're fans of FSU, there may be some fans in this chat who are viewing this podcast are fans of some other teams. So that is why we love to showcase, publicize, and project the Projection Sports viewing guide for you guys. So you get to see when your teams or some of the notable teams players you might like are on and when they play. So shout out to Projection Sports for always coming through, and we love to show them love here on this show. So starting yesterday, we had some college games, some MLB playoffs, and then the Thursday night football game on Prime we're gonna circle back to. But today, Friday, these are your games. Starting with San Jose State, Utah State, North Carolina at Cal at ESPN, and then Louisville at number 2 Miami tonight on ESPN2. And on Fox, Nebraska is at Minnesota. This is the Saturday slate for you guys. So starting off in the first column, if you will, for those 12 o'clock games, you have LSU at Vanderbilt, UConn at Boston College. Some other notable games you have are Georgia Tech at Duke, an ACC matchup as well. Washington at Michigan should be a pretty good game. And then, Oklahoma at South Carolina as well. Going in the second column, you got Ole Miss at Georgia on ABC, ACC matchup between SMU and Clemson. Ohio State at Wisconsin, Texas A&M at Arkansas, Memphis at UAB, Texas Tech at Arizona State, Kenny Dillingham squad. Then you got Mississippi State at Florida. Going through that third column, Tennessee at Alabama on ABC, Pitt at Syracuse, Oregon at Rutgers. Then you have Washington State at Virginia, Texas at Kentucky, Cincinnati at OK State. FAU is going up against USF. 23rd ranked Utah goes up against 15th ranked BYU. Maryland at UCLA, USC at Notre Dame, a intense rivalry game. Missouri at Auburn as well. And then for your last lot of games, you have on ESPN Florida State at Stanford as well. So we're going to go back to the viewing grid once we talk about the NFL. But since we have discussed the slate of games, of notable games that's occurring this week, got to put this in our parlay builder. So this does not have the option where we can select the top 25 teams. So I'll just be scrolling, James, and you can just tell me when to stop since we got a lot of schools to medal through. So I know you're going to bet on this one, though, James. So Louisville at Miami. Miami is currently opening this on Hard Rock with minus 600 money line. So you have to bet $600 to win 100 if you guys didn't know. So shout
That's
out to
crazy.
FSU
We're
Golfer
going,
for the $5 donation.
that's going toward the bets. Shout out to my guy Matt. Miami points. They're beating them by 14. Row the boat. Or whatever he says, Minnesota. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Minnesota. I was just talking about Matt, but I don't like the way Matt Rule looks. He looks like a little person, but he's not. So it throws me off. Uh, LSU, but I wouldn't be surprised if Vanderbilt upsets them. So
Technically, Vanderbilt is favored to win the game.
favorite, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't like that. Worries me when I see shit like that. Don't care about that. Wait a minute. Tech is only plus 1.5. Give me Tech for the win outright. Even though Diamond Sun's not playing, but we gonna still go with that. He got shout out to Amari Harvey. Shout out to Josiah McGrew balling on Tuesday though. Keep on. Oklahoma at South Carolina. Believe it or not, I think South Carolina wins that one. Hold on. Nah, keep scrolling. All right. Indiana, Michigan State. Damn. Don't want to touch that. SMU versus Clemson. Go back up. SMU is the give me SMU. Texas A&M versus Arkansas. That's it. I'll take Texas A&M straight up money line. Ole Miss, Georgia. Ole Miss. Georgia can't score. The Ohio State. Damn, no, I can't touch that. Texas Tech versus the Fighting Dillinghams. Nah, I don't know. I don't know enough about Memphis. Okay, hold on. Alcorn State versus FAMU. Homecoming. Sorry, fam. Y'all not winning that. Hey, did you see that? We didn't get the video. Did you see them booing FAMU football players at the homecoming pep rally?
No, but I
It's
know
tough.
they're pretty putrid as a program right now. So.
They're stinky, dog. They're trash. And I like the crazy part is Colsey's my guy, man. He coached me at Florida State. But they are ass and not a good one, like a bad BBL.
Yeah, they're the honeybee. They're the honeybees.
The honey badgers, yeah. The honey bears or whatever they were called.
Honeybees.
There we go. Don't want to disrespect them unintentionally. Keep scrolling. Hold on. South Florida is damn, man. These scores are crazy. Yeah, not messing with it. Notre Dame versus USC. No, I don't like that guy. I want him to lose. I don't think Tennessee's beating Alabama, though. Yeah, let me take Alabama. We need Alabama to keep looking good so we can keep the hype up. So we have one victory this year. Missouri versus Auburn. Auburn's the next domino to fall, so you can pick Missouri. Oh, hold on. No, is it 1.5? Is that? No, take the money line away and give me they're gonna beat them by more than 2 points. So Cincinnati, don't know enough about that. I do not care about the Soaking Bowl. Utah versus BYU.
Now, James, we are here. The last game on the Hard Rock app. So, James, I need your score prediction for the Florida State-Stanford game. So, Hard Rock currently has these odds for the Seminoles. Seminoles are favored to win this game by 17.5 points. The over-under for this game is 53.5. And if you take FSU's money line, it is negative 1,000, meaning you have to bet 8,000 to win $100.
Which, in the grand scheme of things, that's 10% interest. So that's not bad. It's more than you can get in the bank. Give me 17.5. Because we're playing, and let's use the $5. Well, technically $3.15 that our guy just donated to us because YouTube takes their cut. But $5 wins you 44. That's a year's salary for a lot of people. I got to go right. But I can promise you this: if Florida State, if I hit all of those things and Florida State game is the last one, you know what your boy doing? Cashing out. Gerard says, anybody see us going 6-0 to close out the season? If Florida State goes 6-0 to close out the season, if they go 6-0 to close out the season, and those would have to be impressive wins. Mike Norvell will have a lot of momentum going back in, regardless of what. You will still have the people that will be arguing back and forth about, is he a good coach? Should he be here? Should they fire him? Blah, blah, blah. But The last time you went, you lost 3 games in a row on your 10-3 season, and then you went 13-1 the next year. You can convince everybody to come back because you don't really lose. There's nobody that has to leave. And right now, some of these guys have played themselves into having to stick around or go somewhere else. You just got to get some pieces that you just got to get some pieces that people will feel takes you to that next level. And there will be some pieces available. You're a more dynamic passer away from being that elite team. You're because Miami's going to have but it would, excuse me. Miami's got a good formula right now, but I don't think Miami's going to be able to hit at quarterback all the time, like at the rate that they're doing. But they are building some skill players that are pretty good to be able to throw to a quarterback. You are 2 D linemen away from and your linebacker core really has to get an injection. Deuce, I have said it before and I'll say it again. He is a more athletic version of what's the dude that's up for Philly that got hurt. He's a more athletic version of him.
Johnny Wilson.
But he does Johnny Wilson. Yeah, he's got to come back. So for him to be able to get something higher than, I mean, he could be a mid-round guy now, but if he comes back and balls out, he could be a guy that gives you something. But we need more. You're really hurt. Where you're hurting at is on defense. You need better quarterback play. But I'm gonna be honest with you, the amount of points that the offense has put up is good enough to win. You just have to finish. And then some coaching cues. We play too many running backs. And if guys are hurt that often to where they're out, like, man, get rid of them. I could like them, but like, you're out. Like, come on, dog. And you got to find some guys that really have a desire to be able to want to win. You don't go to the problem with the Florida States of the world and why Indiana, like, you could go to Indiana and play and love your life. You can have a marginal career and be one of the top 10 players that ever exist at Indiana. You cannot be like any kid signing right now. It is almost impossible for them to be a top 10 player in Florida State history. Andre put big. Can we go to Lake City Juvenile Detention Center and grab some? Shout out to well, no, I was Mariana. Shout out to Mariana. But they got to just recruit this state better. And again, I don't want to come off as, I'm not going to ever come off as a guy that's disliking them. I just come off as a guy who's saying like, hey man, there's a trajectory, there's a way that we can do things and make it easier. Like, you need a Jacob Curry to probably come in from out of Nice High School. That's a pretty good ball player. There's a kid going to Illinois right now that would have went to Florida State, and Tony Williams, that's out of Rains High School. There is a young man from Lake City that was at Mandarin, but that's at Lake City that he needs some stuff he needs to develop, but he is so fast twitch. It's by the name, what's Cam's last name? I can't think of it, but his first name is Cam. He played for us at Mandarin. He just has to learn the position. Like there are guys that are around that are there. Build a better rapport with like, again, and go back to what Bryson Wright's dad told me. I never even thought of it myself, so I can't blame them for not thinking of it. But Miami's doing this. Man, I'd offer every kid the minute they're a freshman in high school, or at least sophomore, if they're playing ball, I'd offer every former alumni's kid, every former alumni. and go from there. So, but they need to find the best line. Like, and what we need to do is we don't need to have an open checkbook, but we need to have a check. We need to have, let's see here. All right, positions that just you don't you don't skimp on right now. Personally, I believe Florida State, the QB that they have the QB of the future in their room right now. I like the young jit, but if you can find a better version of Tommy, go get him. I think the running back of the future is in your room in 32. You can run 32 and then you can find somebody else. It needs to be 2 to 3 running backs. That's it. You need another wide receiver. You need a big time playmaker at wide receiver. Pay premium money. Like if you're doing like Uber Eats or DoorDash, three monies. Um, tight end. I think you have your tight end. O line. That's a mixed bag of nuts. Defensive end. I am offering premium money to whatever defensive end, the top defensive end or top defensive tackles, to be able to come here. And that linebacker, I'm either offering. There is nobody I believe that's just that high money, but I am offering somebody good enough, or I'm offering the most scrappy, nasty motherfuckers at FCS or anywhere else, because I think that's really the only thing that's changed. Our linebackers just aren't mean enough and nasty enough. And I believe you have it in the back end. I just think that the coverage that they're running isn't conducive to what they already have. Um, you know, Sport Mark put Miami is smart. It's not just that. They are offering every one of the guys that Bryson played youth ball with, because some of them are cats. Like they are offering and making sure that those guys know that they're a priority. I just got a chance to watch a preview of episode 1 of this documentary that's being done by Overtime. And I can tell you this, Florida State fans are not. There's a glimmer of hope if you look at his wrist, but if you look at what he's wearing, it ain't gonna make you happy. And they're just doing a better job of recruiting right now. But I'm telling you, like if you do those different things, like it's places where you're really, and then once you get those places established, flip it back up, go back and flip it. But I think a lot of these guys are right. Adam was right. We do spend money. We do spend enough money on guys. We just don't do enough to. We aren't coaching them up where they need to be put. But you also need to spend more money. Like you got to have a war chest. I know enough, being around enough guys, that they're still trying to raise the funds and they're still trying to get shit done. So they got to go out here and develop relationships, develop rapport.
Now we are at our NFL segment, and let's talk about the NFL Knowles who are doing their thing in week 6. So Renardo Green had 3 total tackles, 2 solo tackles, and 1 pass breakup versus Tampa. And Tatum Bethune had 10 total tackles in 5 solo tackles. Jared Verse, 6 total tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 3 solo tackles, 4 QB hits, and 1 forced fumble against Baltimore. Jermaine Johnson had 5 total tackles, 4 solo, and 1 sack versus Denver. Derwin had 5 total tackles, 1 solo tackle, and an INT versus Miami. Brian Burns, aka Spider-Man, 7 total tackles, 3 solo, and 2 sacks versus Philly. And Jalen Ramsey had 6 total tackles, 4 solo tackles, and 2 sacks versus Cleveland. And I left the kicker for last. Ryan Fitzgerald had 12 points, 3 for 3 field goal attempts, a 33-yard game-winning field goal, and a 55-yard long field goal versus America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. And we have some news courtesy of your friend James, Carolina Blitz. Panthers kicker Ryan Fitzgerald has been named NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. It's the second week in a row a member of the Panthers has received Player of the Week honors. Fitzgerald converted all 3 of his field goal attempts, including 1 from 55 yards, as well as all 3 of his points after attempts, aka PATs, in Carolina's 30-27 victory over Dallas. His 55-yard field goal marked the longest in the NFC in week 6. We got the opportunity to interview him at the Senior Bowl, the Reese's Senior Bowl, now the Panini Senior Bowl, though. But shout out to Tits for Fits making his mark in the league.
They dropped the man.
Yeah, Panini is the new naming sponsor for the Senior Bowl now, James. So no more Reese's, but you get some sports cards, but that's
Man,
not
I don't want
edible.
no
So
damn cards, man.
yeah,
So now we're gonna go to that room where they're gonna have the display with cards and stuff. Man, they had the good Reese's too, man. But oh well. But now Tits for Fits, shout out to him. Um, you know, doing this thing, man. Happy for him, man. Again, this is a redemption. Like everybody hate. Like remember how everybody hated him, and then he became one of the most beloved FSU fans to becoming the only player that we all liked last year.
definitely shout out to Fitz on getting the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week award and keep killing it out there in Charlotte, my guy. So next we have the Jaguars to discuss, James. So courtesy of the Jaguars official X account, we have this injury report that was from Thursday, aka yesterday. So Quentin Morris did not play, did not participate in practice. Devin Lloyd, did not participate with that calf injury.
He's not even there.
Yeah, he's not even. Yeah, right. He's not even there. Did not travel with the team. Eric Murray limited. De'Ami Brown limited. Robert Hansey full, and Trayvon Walker full participation in practice. The Jaguars are facing the Rams tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, though, because they're going to be playing across the pond in England in the UK. So make sure to check that game out as well. But we just wanted to give you guys the latest injury report for the Jaguars for the fans of the program. And we got some stats, James, of the Jaguars right here as well. So the Jaguars are 30th in pass defense, allowing 256.3 yards per game and 10 TDs, but the stats get better from this point on. 8th in run defense, allowing 91.5 yards a game and 4 touchdowns. 8th in defense, red zone TD rate, 52.9%. Most interceptions in NFL with 10, and one of which was taken for a touchdown. Currently leading the league in takeaways with 14, and a fact that I wasn't aware of, currently leading the league in pass deflections with 41. So hopefully the Jags can get a W in England against the LA Rams, hoping that our NIL Jared Verse doesn't do too good against the Jaguars in England. But man, it's hard trying to stop Jared Verse for
The problem
sure.
with the defense and the passing defense is the last 2 games they've given up tons of yards.
Let's do.
Patrick Mahomes was dicing their asses up. And excuse me. And then last week they got diced up too. Jackson Smith was that in Jigba against them. They might want to guard that guy. Puka's not playing, right? I'm trying to remember. I think one of the. So hopefully it'll be easier, but you need Devin Lloyd to be able to help with some of these different things, and they get stingy. Bend don't break defense. It's hard to win games when you're not rushing, when you're not able to control the top. You can't control top.
Now we are at our review of the Thursday night football matchup between the Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let's get into this game. So the Bengals ended up beating the Pittsburgh Steelers in Cincinnati 33-31 in this AFC North division rivalry matchup. And before we get into the box score, into the nitty-gritty details of the game, James, let's go back to what Mike Tomlin said regarding the Cleveland Browns trading Joe Flacco to the Bengals. If you guys do not remember us discussing that, no problem. We have the quote right here. Mike Tomlin said, quote, "It doesn't make sense to me to trade a QB, Joe Flacco, you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area." And it looks like Mike Tomlin was correct because Joe Flacco went off in his game against the Steelers. So let's get into the box score and the team stats before we get into some of the specifics involved with this game. So let's get into it. Aaron Rodgers went 23 of 34, 249 yards, and he had 4 touchdowns, but had some costly turnovers for his squad. He had 2 interceptions. Jalen Warren had a great game on the ground, 16 carries for 127 yards, averaging 7.9 yards a carry. So Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdowns, all went to tight ends. Pratt Fryermuth had himself a game, 5 receptions, 111 yards, averaging 22.2 yards per reception, and he got 2 tutties as well. Jonnu Smith was the other tight end, 3 receptions for 28 yards, 1 touchdown, and the last tight end to get that receiving touchdown was Darnell Washington, the 6'7", 300-pound tight end from Georgia.
And he got to 300 pounds now. They might as well make him a tackle.
3 receptions for 2 yards, and he had a touchdown
He's not real.
as well. So let's take a look at Joe Shiesty, the real Joe Shiesty, Joe Flacco. He went 31 of 47, had 342 yards and 3 touchdowns, got sacked twice, however. And shout out to Chase Brown on the run game, man. 11 carries, 101 yards, 9.8 average for each carry. And he had some huge chunks that led to the Bengals getting the opportunity to score in the first half. So shout out to Chase Brown as well. And then the MVP of this game is going to Jamar Chase. We have a lot of statistics to break down with Jamar, but just take a look at his targets. 23 targets in this game. Joe Flacco knows one thing: get number one the ball. So Jamar had 16 receptions, 161 yards, average of 10.1 yards per reception, and he had a touchdown as well. T. Higgins, 6 receptions, 96 yards, average of 16 yards a reception for a touchdown, and Noah Fant had a touchdown as well. So with Jamar
being guarded by our boy, huh?
Oh, and yes, Jalen Ramsey was getting cooked this game, might I add. He was getting barbecue chicken. Him, Joey Porter, everybody could not stop the Bengals wide receiver units, but Jalen Ramsey was getting fried this game for sure. It was not good for FSU fans at all.
Every time players fuck up sometimes.
It was not
he made
good.
some good plays towards the end though. But it still wasn't enough to redeem him.
Yes, he definitely got more than he was doing the getting. So it was bad for number 5 out there. So let's break down the team stats as well. So the Bengals had 8 more first downs than the Steelers, and the Steelers went 7 of 10 on third down, while the Bengals went 7 of 14. That's a 70% compared to 50% as well. And the Bengals had opportunity to run more plays, which resulted in the Bengals getting 74 more yards than the Steelers. And they actually had the same number of drives as well. So in the air is when the Bengals thrive because of those 16 receptions for Jamar Chase. We're going to come back to Jamar Chase in a second. We're going to put a pin in that as well. But similar rushing numbers for the Bengals and the Steelers. The Steelers had 5 more rushing yards, averaging 7.4 yards per rush compared to 6.2 for the Bengals as well. And the Steelers had more penalties, 7 penalties for 59 yards compared to 4 for 35. And those 2 interceptions by Aaron Rodgers were very costly for him, which resulted in points on the board for the Bengals. And
one of them was trash though. I ain't gonna
by
the one that you reviewed,
the one by Turner where he ripped it right before he ran out of bounds, or where he threw into like double coverage. Oh, my bad. I think he's frozen a little bit, but we're going to come back to that. And the Steelers actually had 9 less minutes of time of possession.
Right out of bounds. Not double coverage.
Okay, you you cut out for a little bit.
Okay. It was the one to the sideline. Double coverage is stupid, regardless of who you are.
Yeah, that was a horrible throw by Aaron Rodgers. And yeah, the Bengals had 9 more minutes of time of possession. So we're actually going to locate the interceptions we were referring to in the play-by-play. So we're going to get to this one right here. Yes, this was the first one. Aaron Rodgers pass deep left intended for DK Metcalf, intercepted. And you see right what occurred after that. Bengals scored when they got the ball back. And so in the same quarter, right after the Bengals scored off that interception, Aaron Rodgers threw another interception as well, and this was the one that was ripped off the sideline that was taken by Turner on the sideline. This wasn't the double coverage play, and this also resulted in points for the Bengals as well. So in the second quarter, had gotten 10 points off of the 2 interceptions from Aaron Rodgers and company as well. So let's get into some of the statistics for this game, James. You know, we love to come through with the passing and the catching charts as well. So this is the passing chart for Mr. Flacco. So Flacco completed 28 of 37 passes from 336 yards and 3 touchdowns from a clean pocket in a Thursday night football win over the Steelers. This was Flacco's most passing yards from a clean pocket since week 4 of 2018. Also versus Pittsburgh, and the lowest pressure rate faced this season with 24.5%. James, I know I'm going to sound like a broken clock, but look where a majority of those green completions are, man. Look where they are. Everybody watching this show, if you got a youngin who plays QB, please show them this part of the show, or just go on the Next Gen Stats X page and look at these passing charts from these QBs, because they all look the same when they win. They have 1 or 2 passes that's over 10 yards, but look at where the majority of his completions, and even look where his touchdowns are. 2 of his 3 touchdowns were from the line of scrimmage to plus 10 yards. So that shows you that the short game, the first level of the field, if you can master that, the first to second level of the field, you can master a W. So, James, we're actually going to come back to the Bengals right quick, but many were wondering, where was TJ Watt? Where was that Steelers defense that is known to pressure and wreak havoc on a QB? So TJ Watt was just held to 2 pressures and a half a sack on 36 pass rushes. So it was his lowest pressure rate, 5.4%, in any game this season. So the Steelers were not making any noise, and specifically TJ Watt. So we talked about Joe Flacco, and let's look at who Joe Flacco was targeting. Jamar Chase caught a career high 8 passes for 76 yards and a touchdown against man coverage, and 8 passes for 85 yards against zone coverage. So no other player has gained
94 yards a yak. That's crazy. Yak is yards after catch for people who don't know. Jeez.
No other player has gained 75 yards against both coverage types in any game this season. And with Jamar's 23 targets, that actually led the league this year in the most targets by a wide receivers. So he was doing his thing. And let's take a look at his route chart right here. You can see his touchdown is with the blue circle is going to be on the left side of your screen with the TD letters right there. But you can see the after catch, the yak line is that green line. So that's the amount of yards he got after he caught the ball. The gray lines are his incomplete route, however. But he had 23 targets leading the league this year, 16 receptions, 161 yards, 1 touchdown. And yes, like James was saying, he had 94 yards after the catch, aka yak. And Jamar set a Bengals record in his second game with Joe Flacco, because with his 16 receptions, he now has the most receptions in a game in Bengals history. I know he was smiling, and the stats keep on rolling for Mr. Chase. So Jamar Chase joins Hall of Famers Jerry Rice and Randy Moss as the only 3 players in NFL history with 6,000 plus receiving yards and 50 plus receiving touchdowns in their first 5 career seasons. So the LSU wide receiver is doing his thing out there on that football field, and he's in a conversation with some of the top 5 wide receivers in the National Football League history. So, James, you know they had to throw some shots at the Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, and one player on that squad, particularly because Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase has more catches in the last 2 games than Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown has total catches this season. Chase's last 2 games, he accumulated 26 catches, and A.J. Brown has only had 25 catches this entire season. James, you know ML football loves to be petty with this infographic, but man, A.J. Brown only has 25 catches this season as we head into week 7 of the
We need to
NFL.
figure out how to bring him here.
Yes, we need him bad.
Like bring him here to be miserable for another reason. Like why? Like hamstrings and quad pulls because he has to make spectacular catches because Trevor throws an infirmary ball, or just get him laid out. then he'll miss. Then he'll miss Jalen.
So continue to move on. Let's show love to the old heads, courtesy of OptiStat. So Thursday marked the first time ever a 40-plus-year-old starting pitcher, Max Scherzer, won in the MLB postseason, and a 40-plus-year-old starting QB, Joe Flacco, won in the NFL on the same day. So the old heads continuing to show their worth. And James, is looking scary for your boy Mike Tomlin, even though he was right with Joe Flacco and his potential as the starter for the Bengals. It looks like Thursday night football isn't his cup of tea. Mike Tomlin is still searching for his first road victory on Thursday night football against an AFC North opponent. So it looks like he was right about Flacco, and I can't blame him. I know he had flashbacks from when Flacco was rocking those Ravens uniforms. So man, he knows what Flacco can do, and it looks like he knows what those AFC North opponents can do on Thursday night football.
Talk about a part of the NFL that went from guaranteed to up in the air, and that's the AFC North. Like, shoot, heck, in the AFC East, who would have thought? Miles, I know you got to be geeked. I mean, did you have the Patriots tied at first place?
Yeah, I'm loving it.
I might be able to.
Worried because they're still trying to take away the legacy, though.
They're better away. They're 3-0 on the road. They're 1-2 at home. Where Buffalo might not want to see it, might not want to get home field advantage and have to play the Patriots.
Do you have any of those skilled players on your fantasy teams?
Yeah, Pop.
Oh, okay.
Mario Douglas.
Okay.
Yeah, just to be honest with you, I had an extra spot. I had no idea, but I didn't play him. But he's on my fantasy team. Like he'll definitely get that alternate spot now that I know, they're. But if I told you the beginning of the season that the Patriots, the Colts, and the Jaguars were going to be some of the top teams in the AFC, what would you have said?
Hell no. Maybe the Jaguars.
Maybe the Jags, but you would have been like, man, you whatever you smoking, you got a bad batch. Like, but right now it's extremely competitive, and the Bengals, who lost their quarterback, should be at the bottom of the division, are right in the second place in the AFC North and still looking for it. With the Ravens and the Browns tied for the worst. That's crazy. I would have never thought that. And the most competitive division is the AFC West, with the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Chiefs, all tied up.
Did you hear what Brian Fitzpatrick was calling them? I didn't hear the term before, Tutty Buddies, and he had to explain how it's like Eskimo buddies, but it's because they both threw to the same receiver. You must have missed that part of the broadcast towards the end. It was getting kind of wild. Yeah, he's like, we're Tutty Buddies. He's like, he had to explain Teddy buddies. It's like Eskimo buddies. We both threw to the same receiver for a touchdown.
Yeah, that kids are watching. I don't know. Like, that's like I don't know, 6, 7. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know if I want to know. I don't ever know if I ever want to say I'm a Teddy buddy with somebody. Like, that's I'm a grown ass man. I don't want to. Like, that sounds close to crossing swords.
Yeah,
like, that's some wild shit. But he also takes his shirt off. Takes his shirt off. Like, that's a Harvard grad though for you. I think he went to Harvard, right? He went to one of them Ivy League schools.
Yeah, I believe he went to Harvard. Let me check.
I was about to say titty buddy or something like that. That's crazy.
Yep, Harvard University, Department of Economics.
The Jaguars are going up against the Rams, and we actually had this great story courtesy of Clutch Points about Byron Young, a great player on the Rams who's currently second in the NFL in sacks. So Byron Young, just a few years ago, was working the cash register. Back in 2018, Young took shifts at Burger King and Dollar General to try to enter the working world. He even got promoted to assistant manager at Dollar General, and his boss thought Byron had a future in store management. But football was always his true passion. One day, he saw a flyer on the store bulletin board. George Military College was holding open tryouts for its football team. Young went, made the team, and never looked back. From there, he transferred to Tennessee and was then drafted by the Rams in the third round of the 2023 draft. This year, he's raked up 7.5 sacks through 6 weeks. Good for second in the NFL, and he looks like one of the best young players in the league. Not too bad for a former Dollar General employee. Man, what a story by Byron Young. This just shows his drive, his relentlessness, and he's been from the bottom to the top, and he's currently sitting at the top of the sack stats in the league.
That's insane.
This is just, man, crazy.
So I hate stories. I love stories like this, but I hate stories like this
because it gives faith to other people.
It gives faith to people that like don't give up hope, brother. This. He had elite traits. He just needed an opportunity. A lot of you guys don't know what an elite trait. Like, can we look up what God blessed him with?
Yeah,
like let's just because before we walk into this, like I just really want, and it doesn't work like that 90% of the times, and because I hate it because I don't want to be the cynic, man.
No, that's a good call by you.
But like I need people. I'm be honest with you. I'm not gonna hold you. He probably should have. He probably shouldn't have done it, but because he probably wasn't 250 at the time. Let's look at some of the other. Like they don't have like his 40, like his his athleticism score is 8. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Fuck that. Okay, you're not him. I want everybody right now listening under the sound of my voice. Don't you put these thoughts in your son's head. If your kid, if he ran, that's a 4.43 on a laser. That means he probably ran. Somebody probably clocked him at 4.2 one day, or at least a 4.3. That's elite. He jumped 38 inches. That anything over 35 is elite. 11-foot broad jump, that's beyond elite. 9 feet is elite. Nah, I ain't gonna get into his other measurements. He's probably got arms that go all the way down. He can probably scratch his kneecaps without bending over. He's probably got huge paws for hands. There are things that you can go look at and see with people that if I saw you at like 18, 19 years old, I'd be like, hey, you know what? You probably should go give it one more go. But like, brother, like some of y'all, and he probably was at least decent in high school. Some of y'all kids are ass and blaming a high school coach for your kid. And to be honest with you, you should be blaming yourself You should look in the mirror and be like, you know what? I shouldn't have procreated with that 5'3" man, that 5'3" obese man that's bow legged, and he's built like a single independent woman that don't need no man for shit. Like don't like that's what. I'm sorry, this hits home because there's a parent that keeps going to the Mandarin University account and stressing why doesn't everybody get a chance to play? Your child is 5'5". This isn't I-9. They're never going to play for us. If you want to go play, there's another place for you to go. But like again, you're mad that he's not playing. I'm mad that you gave us that kid to try to make into something good. But 6'2", 250 is good enough with measurables. But there's a lot of people walking. 6'2", 250. My uncle George, and that motherfucker ain't never played a sport in his life. But he also doesn't. He's never ran. I don't think my uncle could ever run 6 seconds in the 40, let alone 4.43. So, but again, just don't. If get inspired by that story, maybe like that's a good feel good shit. Like but like if your kid right now is working at the Dollar General, he's probably gonna be working. Take the promotion, get into store management, get the $60,000 job. Don't think about football anymore. I hate this how this is. Miles, have you when's the last time you talked to Lil James? You heard me, Miles?
Like a week, 2 weeks ago.
This
Yeah.
man is in line to get promoted to his boss's job.
Oh,
Like,
really?
and this man talking about quitting to go pursue stuff because I said, "Dog, you are almost 40 at this point, brother. You better take that fucking job." Like, that's right there for you, man. Say the time to be taking risks, or if you take a risk, the older you get,
A risk
like
with what?
you need to be doing other stuff, man. But like, nah, this is that's a great story. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it.
Any of my Chief fans or AFC West fans, Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice will make his season debut Sunday when the Chiefs host their division matchup against the Las Vegas Raiders. So Rashee
It seems
Rice
a little
will.
speedy for him to come back right now.
Okay, bad joke. All right, let's get into some news regarding the Ravens, James, and a player who is from Florida. I know it sucks to see. I don't know. This might have flew under your radar, but Ravens are releasing safety Chauncey Gardner-Johnson after the safety's agent, Kevin Connor, and Ravens officials came to a, quote, an amicable mutual decision, unquote. Quote, after the Ravens traded for a safety, we were looking for a clearer path to play, unquote, said CJ's agent. So he's currently not on the Ravens roster, James. It's crazy how fast things can turn on its head, man.
Man, them the 2 rings ain't helping you play right now. Remember he
They
was
are
talking
not.
all that trash? Like, just it's a cruel league. I think he's a good football player. I think his attitude is what's keeping him out of the league. So, for people who like to say Shadur is being like, this is actual a guy's attitude keeping him from working. So, like, not that pretend racism shit that we all try to hype up, but like, this is actually happening to a guy whose attitude is losing him stuff. But I personally still think the Jaguars need to take a shot at him because we need help in the secondary. And if he got to call some people out, then shit, fuck it.
It's funny that you mentioned that his 2 Super Bowl rings are not helping him get an opportunity to land on a roster. And speaking of rings, James, this quarterback ears and brain is still ringing from his CTE hits he's been taking, and that is none other than Tua Tagovailoa, because Tua apologizes for his comments after Sunday's games when he mentioned that some of the players showed up late to player only meetings, putting his teammates on blast in the media. So Tua actually apologized to his teammates and he said, quote, "I made a mistake. We talk a lot about we got to get this going, come in excited for work and forget about the noise. And I feel like I just added onto that for our guys. So let's see what the quarterback had to say in its entirety."
You got it on mute, Jaden.
All right, let me fix it right quick.
Londa wants to know who slapped Tua. Probably the equipment manager. The boy is frail. The boy ain't that big, man. But Bama quarterback. When are Bama quarterbacks going to start getting the same stigma as Ohio State quarterbacks get?
Until Mac Jones starts playing like trash.
Well, yeah, Mac Jones is the only,
Yeah.
but Mac Jones was trash until
He was trash. He
he wasn't. But like Tua's trash. The petite Panther princess is trash.
Jalen Hurts is horrible. I'm just playing.
Well, no, but my bad. Well, no.
Is that or is that
Jalen Hurts
Oklahoma?
is
Are we
Oklahoma.
doing it? Are we doing this? We're doing this game.
Miami thing, like so, like Cam Ward wasn't Washington State or anywhere else. He was Miami.
So Dylan Gabriel is the Oregon, Oklahoma, or UCF trash.
Dylan Gabriel is Oregon trash. Oregon could get the same stigma too. Their quarterbacks are ass too.
Got you.
But all right, let's listen to what Tua Tagalong has to say.
I made a mistake, and I'm owning up to that right now. I've talked to guys on the team about it, talked to the leaders about it, and that they know my heart. They know that the intent was right, but no matter the intent, the intent can be right, but when things get misconstrued,
I don't need to listen to the rest of that shit. Don't ever fix your lip. A crazy wise man once said, "Don't ever fix your lips like collagen to say something where you're going to end up apologizing." And if you were right, you were right. I'm not fucking apologizing to you because you didn't like my tone. It's either right or this is, man, be fathers to your sons. This is coming from a guy who's claimed his daddy beat him when he made bad plays. Like, his dad needs to get back in his life. He needs to start beating him again. Like, you said what you said, stand on it. If you were wrong, admit you're wrong. I'm okay with wrong and then change behavior. But if you weren't wrong, don't come out. Like, I'm not mad about offending 52 other grown-ass men who know they should have been at the meeting on time. The problem is you're losing and it didn't work, and you're probably about to lose your spot not because you said something hurtful, it's because you said something that they didn't like. So fuck them. That's it. Like, it's time for you to get replaced. It's time for all of y'all to get replaced down there. The boy went on. Well, I guess I should say down here. The boy who's the only thing valuable for him is his Yeezys collection, which we don't even wear. Actually, I just thought about something. I got a wall full of Yeezys that I got to start rocking them again before they mess up. But like Mike McDaniel, we need Mike McDaniel at Florida State calling plays as offensive coordinator, or bring him to the Jags, help us out. But right now, you're clearly not head coach material. You can't lead this guy. We should have known that Tua was emotionally ass when he was fucking crying when Brian Flores said you're a pussy. And those are just, and then when he said he couldn't understand a playbook. When a quarterback tells me I can't read a playbook, they need to dumb it down a little bit for me, I was done then. Matter of fact, when I see my boy Bernie, who's already talking shit to me, telling me I got to bow, make sure I take a bow to what's his name, a Dan Marino statue when I walk by. I gotta pick on him about Tua because he says I hate Tua. They say the only person I hate more than Trevor Lawrence is Tua, and I don't hate either one of them. I hate they suck.
We are now back at the viewing grid. So let's take a look at the viewing grid for the NFL. So on Sunday in the morning, bright and early, 9:30 a.m., Rams are playing the Jaguars in London. Then for your 1 o'clock games, you have Dolphins at Browns, Raiders at Chiefs, Patriots at Titans, Eagles at Vikings, Saints at Bears, and Panthers at Jets. Then for your 4 o'clock games, you have Giants at Broncos, Colts at Chargers, Commanders at Cowboys, Packers at Cardinals. And then for your Sunday night game, you have the Falcons at the 49ers. So on Monday, you have a double header, Buccaneers at Lions starting at 7. And then proceeding right after the game, you have Texans at the Seahawks. This game is going to be starting late since it's going to be on the West Coast. So I think that's going to be starting around 10 p.m. So I don't know if I'm going to be staying up to watch that game. But, anyways, let's get into the parlay for this week. James going to run through these teams right here, talk about the scores and potentially, or not, excuse me, the odds for these games right here.
I'm Homer. I'm going. Trevor Lawrence is going to actually ball out this game. I just talk shit about him, but maybe this is what's going to bring two out. Let's go. Patriots. Cam Ward couldn't beat his meat, so I definitely don't think he's going to beat them. I'm going to go with the dude who paints his fingernails. I think the Jets beat the petite Panther princess. Fly Eagle Fly. Chefs. I think the Colts lose their second game to help the Jags. Man, ooh. I'm going to go CTE gang on this one, man. I think the Giants got this. Cowboys. Pack. Man. I'm going to go with Mac Main. Lions. Yeah, I think the Texans win this one. That's who I'm rolling with. I would have lost anyway because I definitely picked the Steelers. So I'm glad I didn't. Like, you can't. Hard Rock works in New Jersey, right? But not in Pennsylvania. And I didn't make my bets in New Jersey. I waited until I got in the air, and I was in Philadelphia, so I couldn't do anything. So it messed me up.
Now we are at our Big Games BS section for today. And we love to start off with our food review segment, our BS or busted food review segment. So we actually have a dessert for you guys as we move along in our Big Games BS section for today. And that is a salted caramel cheesecake. So we're going to play the video and let us know in the chat if you give this food item a BS or bussin'. And oh, by the way, this salted caramel cheesecake has a Biscoff crust.
I already know what I'm thinking without even saying it. Okay. Yeah, I'm rolling with it. I like Biscoff cookies are fire. It's the best part of flying on an airplane. And I like salted caramel. Oh, she know what she's doing. It didn't even crack.
Battery 5%. Charge soon.
Yeah, I'm rolling with it. I'm good. I'm good. The salt takes away some of the sweetness. So it's not as sweet as what people would think. But I love salted caramel. I like salted caramel ice cream. I'm a salted caramel guy. So yeah, that's fire. You know, it's always confusing when you see the stereotypes because some of the best bakers I know are white. Outside of red velvet cake. I don't know why white people can't make red velvet cake, right? But like But that white lady right there could have give me 3 of them, 3 pieces of that, and then some metformin and a GLP-1, so I don't die. Like y'all use that for weight loss and stuff. I just don't want to die. I want to be able to eat good food and not, nothing bad happens to me.
So, James, some notable players you might not know: Julio Jones, Miguel Vick, many others did not get a chance to shine on the field like they should have, and now they are playing 40U football on Telemundo. So don't take my word for it. Let's take a look at the 40U Hispanic League, man. Let's take a look at it.
Es que recuerden lo que nos ha costado llegar aquí, a este momento, todo lo que estuvimos sacrificando las temporadas pasadas, todo lo que estuvimos dando y que no pudimos completar. Hoy es el día.
That's Theo Tagovailoa.
Es mi último juego, es mi cumpleaños y estoy con mis hermanos en el terreno de juego y con lo que quiero hacer. ¡Siempre! ¡Juntos! ¡Siempre! ¡Juntos!
Can I? There now, do you guys see why I make certain statements? Is he gay or is he really Spanish? Because like it's just how passionate. I don't know what they're saying, but it's very passionate. All right, Miles, you gotta get the sound, Miles. I need all of these different sounds taken and stripped. These are going to be used in our show from now on. I don't know what they said at all, but it sounded very passionate.
These football players, if you even want to call them that, are
so they have to pronounce this right.
Oh yeah,
because it's not football. Football is soccer. This is football. I don't even want them to say American football. Like this is they are. That's not regular Spanish. That's Mexican. Them vatos right there, ain't that? That's Mexicans.
I did not do that much digging, but I do not know what ethnicity.
Those are tortos.
Those are tortos. Be racist.
Those are not tortas. Tortas will be the ladies built like mini fridges. They were tortos. Like they definitely got Mexican builds, man. Like I bet it's
a Mexican build.
There is a four.
Oh, I need to update you, James.
What's up?
I don't know if your sandwich vernacular is up to date because the Hispanics are tortas, right?
Yeah.
And so if they're white, they're hoagies.
Yeah. Okay.
And if they're Asian, they're bao buns, and if they're black, they're po' boys. So that's the whole.
See,
sandwich.
I don't like that at all.
That's the whole sandwich list for anybody out there.
We gotta have a better one for the po' boys, man.
I thought that was pretty good.
It's funny. I was with all of the other ones.
They gave us
that's
po'
crazy.
boys.
That's crazy.
They give us like chopped cheese or something. Like, oh no,
a balbo. I can see a Chinese woman built like one of those. Like I haven't. Or what is it? What do I get all the time from the Thai restaurant? But
yeah. I don't know what would be a good black one. I said Popeye's chicken sandwich, but that just sounds kind of racist. So that's not a good one.
That's too much. The guys who JD Vance's homeboys would take that and run with it, and then it wouldn't be funny anymore. You'd be ready to fight.
Yeah. So I think po' boy is a good compromise until I think of a better one.
Yeah. I was trying to think of a sloppy sandwich.
Sloppy Joe.
Yeah, black people don't eat that. Black people eat sloppy joes in secret. I ain't never had a black person just run. That's like black people in Arby's. All these black people who claim they love Arby's, but you ain't never seen them with an Arby's bag, or in a parking lot.
Struggle food.
But sloppy joes are fire. But I ain't never heard a black person say, "Yo, let me get a sloppy joe." I need a sloppy Joe today. But nah, them that dude, it is a job that is under constructed right now because them dudes are deciding to go play football, knowing good and damn well they need to be on a roof somewhere.
Wait, you didn't see the comments?
No, I didn't see the comments.
Those are the workers in the ice raid in Tallahassee. That's their
Oh, I
fault.
believe it.
No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. That's a
Oh
joke.
my
That's a
God.
joke.
I believe it.
That's a
I
joke.
believe it.
That's a
4-5
joke.
looking at 4-5, 4-7 looking at that video right there and saying like, "Yo, I need y'all to go there now." I know they're undocumented. But imagine having a Hispanic football league, like the sheer terror. Like you're risking your life,
For
your
practice.
livelihood every week for practice. You might not even be here. Like you left, and you know Spanish women or Caribbean women in general, like are very angry. Like you left to go, you like baby, you got your shoulder pads and helmets, baby. I'm gonna go up here in whatever Spanish language. I'm gonna go up here to practice, and then you don't show back up, and you're because you're in the back of an ice truck. That's wild. I
And no,
bet
not
they
a cream truck, the ice truck.
the ice truck. But I tell you this though, because no matter what people say, black men, I'm telling you, dog. I'm telling you, they say they're gonna leave us, right? You ain't gotta worry about that, dog. Go get you one of them authentic Caribbeans, and you gonna get lunch. Like their pregame meal is fire. Have you ever seen them? Go watch the Jaden. Go look at the videos of like the white guys what they eat for what they get for lunch compared to what the Hispanic men get for lunch.
Oh
That's
yeah, I
making
know.
below minimum wage. Man, them women lay it out for them, dog. They are ready to die about they little short. They're short kings.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the kings of our OG Wildland segment for today. So we had to change the name for the team. So it's the Senor OG Wildland segment of today. So shout out to the guys out there doing their thing on the gridiron. So, James, we got one last topic to discuss. And then I have nothing else for you as we head into the weekend. But for any of my first take lovers out there, you know Molly Kieran is not the host of First Take anymore. So we actually have news of the new host for First Take, and that is Shay Cornett. So Shay Cornett will replace Molly Kieran as the new host of ESPN's First Take with Stephen A. Smith. So just wanted to update. I don't. Your face. I don't. It seems like you kind of have some
She
thoughts,
looked
James.
evil.
But
She looked
yep.
evil. She looked like if I whistle at her, she gonna tell her she gonna like call somebody.
Okay.
And tell somebody that like it just something about her eyes, man. I mean, hey, you know what? I'm sure Jason Whitlock will love her because she's blonde and she's young and all
And her
that.
husband's black, I think, as well.
Really?
Yeah, she has a let me look up his name again, but I think
She
he works
married.
at ESPN as well. So
Oh, makes sense. Get your job. They mad at that.
oh yeah, actually let's see. I got it right
Is he an exec?
here. No, he's black. You know they don't do that to black people.
That's fair. Definitely, that's what it is. It's the Botox makes her look. Okay, that's a better picture of her right there with her husband. Okay, I like that picture, but I'm not in. That's a strong features right there. That was a better picture. They just maybe she's one of those. We all have our angles, right? But yeah, I'm not. It's not like I was a fan of Molly. I don't watch it, so I don't really care about any of those things. It just seems like everything on sports media is about saying a hot take, and Stephen A. Smith has really done a really good job of. That's what it is, Londa. She got a, but that might be why she got a job. I bet her time of possession is applicable. It's right. It's not too much, and it ain't too little. She has enough time of possession to be able to get the defense to pop off right, to get the D popping off. So that's good for her. Stephen A says enough things to be able to get people, and that's really what it's about. Now it's about views, and it's not really about breaking things down, and more playing the dozens, and Stephen A going to talk for 40 for 65% of the show, so you're not even going to be able to get a good counterpoint in because he's going to just use words. But kudos to them, I guess.
No, I gotta share this with you now. I was doing some digging. It's just crazy, bro. She do not look like the same person. This is 2020, right here. She do not look the same.
Right.
That's
Yo,
crazy.
I can't even say it's a filter on there because you don't have no filter. That's wow. I mean, yeah, like how old is she? That was just 2022.
Yeah.
And she's from Indiana. So she's a Midwest 10, a Midwest 7. Even then, which is nothing wrong with that. Again, love is love. I'm happy for her and him. But mid gonna sell no matter what. But like she looks a lot different now. But I don't want to get them because sometimes age and features and things happen to make people go. I mean, shoot, I look a lot different when I'm cleaned up. I mean, I couldn't get to the barber, man, so I'm feeling like, my whole drip is feeling off right now. I'm not as confident. When you leave that barber and when he did a good job, you feel like a lot more confident. I wonder if like when women go to the Botox person or get their eyebrow, like I'm wondering if this is one of those things where maybe she just had a bad Botox day. Or maybe she's, struggling with some things, but she has qualities. When you go back that far, I can see it. And once you get in that door, man, if you know what you're doing, like you could hook one of us now. You do that thing we like. It don't matter what you start looking like, as long as you continue to go back to, doing what got you into the game. So, but I don't know if she's any good at her job. I won't ever know if she's any good at her job because I won't watch. I'm not protesting. I just don't like. I don't like that show. But is Cam Newton on it now consistently? Oh, did you see our girl Jerica? Was with
Don't you try and get me caught up, man. She's not. No. I did see
not
that though.
your girl.
I
I'm
did
just
see that,
saying,
but
Jerica.
BBL Drizzy. Yep, saw
Hey,
BBL
listen,
Drizzy.
man,
Yep.
that's the crazy part. Like, she too young to have gotten to BBL. Like, she didn't even give grown women away the chance. But she's
Yeah, when I
cute.
found
Like,
out she was my
she's
age,
working
I was
hard.
like, man, I'm doing
Yeah, but
something.
she's well. One, you
Well,
are
I
doing
can't.
something wrong.
Yeah,
You're
I don't have
not.
a
You're not
BBL.
five. You're not 5'3". You can't wear heels. You're not a cute. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, sometimes, like, if you got a good face card, it helps. It doesn't hurt, right? And feminine energy helps in this profession, even though it should. Excuse me, but she's been grinding. She's on the scene everywhere. Heck, she'll be at the Miami game because somehow she got. I think she's either in. She must be in like grad school or something to be able to get that gig. But she's been. I mean, she got to have a sponsor though.
Dr.
And
Miami's her sponsor for sure.
well, I don't mean like that because just think about all the places that we've been this year. So she wasn't at the Senior Bowl. She was at the Super Bowl in New Orleans at the team hotel. You might not know what that cost, Jaden. I know what that cost. That shit is not. If she stayed the entire time, that shit ain't cheap. I can promise you that one. She was at All Star. She was at the Combine. Like every week, every like she's been at all of the major sporting events, working. But there isn't a lot of content out. but we know she's been there. She's taking some bomb pictures. To be honest with you, she don't have to put out no content because she's getting like 50, 60,000 views per picture on Twitter. She's been speaking at conferences. I think. Oh, you know what? My bad. She is sponsored. She's signed to I think she signed to CAA represents her. So that could be.
Got you.
So yeah.
Got you.
But again, I don't give a fuck how you get your job. Once you get in, you do have to be skilled enough to be able to stay. That's why when everybody's talking about Joy Taylor, say what you want to say about Joy is good. She also has a body built for impact, but she is really, really good at her job. So, but anyways, though, that's fuck first take. But anyways, guys, make sure you jam the like button. Check out the stuff that we have next week. We will come in full slate of shows again with the stream. Hopefully, it will be done the proper way. Mandarin University plays Oakleaf High School for the district championship next week. We will also have teasers dropping for a lot of different things as we continue to put more content up. I will show a day in the life of a guy supporting a rival while I'm down here, checking out Carson Bet. So we'll have tons of things to be able to discuss on Monday's show. Depending upon what happens, I probably will come on here and do something on Sunday, a reaction show to Florida State since the Jags play early on Sunday at 9:30. So we'll probably do a Jags reaction as well as a Jags reaction show as well as FSU reaction show. 10:30 at night is very, very late. I don't think I'll be watching that full game, especially if we get our asses kicked. I won't, or if it's a close game, I'm going to be mad, so I don't want to watch it. Unless y'all want to do a live show where we're watching it and we all talk about the game, we watch it as a family, I'll consider that. FAMU homecoming, shout out to FAMU about to lose. Homecoming to make the homecoming queen cry. I don't know what else we got, but outside of that, man, appreciate you guys for chopping it up with me. We will see you guys next time.